I like to hunt, fish, camp. Love pier fishing in the ocean, and that's one of my favorite hobbies. I guess the biggest thing I ever caught was down in Santee Cooper, South Carolina. That was a pretty good catch. A lot of fighting. It was cool to bring something that big in my first time. I like the outdoors because it's freedom. I like the freedom. I like being out, being myself, and you could be yourself when you're out there, you know?
It was one trip, and that's all it took. That I always knew I wanted to live in North Carolina someday. I just like it because it's a beautiful state. There are roads that take me right to the beach, and I can go the other way and go to the mountains. And then I ended up meeting my husband in northern Ohio, of all places, who was from North Carolina. He decided he wanted to move back home. I was like, that's why I got me a Carolina boy. I was right happy about moving down here.
I mean, before the accident, I was pretty much your typical person, I guess. And my wife and I were at a point in our life where our children were older, we were done raising children, and now could start to travel, on which we had started to do that. You know, you just kind of go through the motions and you take things for granted, and you don't realize how you do take things for granted until something eventful happens.
I had a really hard time. I was starting to get really short of breath. Anything I would do, I'd get short of breath. I would sweat a lot, and just wasn't filling up to par, and just tired all the time, wanting to sleep more. And that kind of was an indicator I knew something was going on, but just wasn't for sure what was happening with me. That's when I went to get my physical, and when I went to the physical, my heart rate was 126. Yeah, it was really fast. And she said at that time I definitely should see a cardiologist because something definitely wasn't right with me. And being an employee at High Point Regional Hospital, I've heard awesome, great things about Carolina cardiology. I heard they're one of the top in the United States, which really made me feel confident to go there to search out a doctor. The ultrasound is where they found the problem. They found out at that time that I had congestive heart failure and cardiomyopathy. It leaves you in shock and awe, not knowing if you're going to be here tomorrow or not. And, the doctor said even 10% I shouldn't be walking around, I should be in bed, I should be on oxygen. Not knowing what's going to happen tomorrow, not knowing, the future was a scary thing to me.
I'm busy. I work hard at work and I work hard at home, and I'm involved with church activities and teaching and lots of things in my life. But I had started to notice that I really was slowing down, and I'm like, is it my age? I had some pain and I had some bleeding. So I made an appointment. I called on a Thursday and was in the next Thursday. And by the next Thursday, I'd had knowledge that my test did not come back good, and it was concerning. So they knew I had a uterine problem. And they told me to go out to the front desk and make an appointment with the surgeon. I saw Dr. Sansing, and she told me that I had cancer.
Typical day in November. It was my day off, and we were getting some deliveries for the man cave. I was, in the process of going downstairs to start to set the stuff up, and King Henry loves to be with me at all times. Now, he always has to be on the left side of things. Like, if you're sitting with him in a chair, he's got to be on your left side. If he's going down the stairs, normally, he goes down the left side. Well, this time he decided he was a little impatient. So he decided when he was going to go downstairs with me, he was going to go through my legs this time instead of to the left, and I was not anticipating the through the legs. And in my attempt not to step on him, I kind of slipped on our stairs going down into our basement as a rug, and I just lost my footing and fell down like 6 steps, landing on my back on my left side. Probably something that could have happened hundreds of times before, and the outcome would have been different, but this time apparently it wasn't. Initially, I was only having leg pain on the side of my leg, on the left side of my leg. And I thought, all right, I just, bruised bone and bruised soft tissue. The pain continued to get worse. The numbness started to develop into my leg. The weakness started to develop. I couldn't go to sleep. Nothing was taking away this pain. This is not just a bad bruise. This is a disc problem.
I looked at the MRI and I saw how severe the disc rupture was, and I happened to be in the operating room when I was looking at his MRI, and I alerted the team and said, listen, there's a patient upstairs who I really think needs to have surgery now. And when I went up to talk to Sal, we kept him from eating so he could come down immediately, and he was within surgery within 3 hours. And fortunately, he woke up in the recovery room and said, I can tell it's better already.
My heart was not beating anymore. It was just sitting in my chest quivering. They brought us in and actually showed us a small video of the heart. And instead of pumping like it should, it was just quivering in there. I wore a life vest for 3 months, and at that time, Dr. Tyson felt that would be time he would be able to put a pacemaker in me. So I have a pacemaker with a defibrillator, and I was the first one in this area to get the model that I have. It was a big relief, big relief. Dr. Tyson said he'd like for me to lose 30% body weight within 3 months, and it's really hard to do. I knew I just couldn't get the weight off I needed as fast as I needed, and that's when I was thinking and considering having bariatric surgery.
The surgery's going along great, and right towards the end, right at his hiatus, we find this big mass. And, myself for one had never encountered that, and of course, my heart stopped for a sec, and I had to gather myself. His 45-minute operation turned into a 2.5-hour ordeal. And we do take pictures and document our operation from start to finish. That's my policy.
He came in and sat down in front of us and pulled out this picture and showed us exactly what he was talking about. When you're the patient or the patient's family, all we have is the words that he's telling us.
Dr. Tapar had made the decision while he was in there to go ahead and do 2 surgeries in one, because he felt, being that I had the heart condition, that going back into doing 2 separate surgeries on separate days would be harder on my body.
He did great, and he flew through surgery, but there was this kind of unexpected finding, and that we would know more in the next few days as we sent this to the pathologist and they determined what it was.
They were more than happy to meet me where I was, because of the type of cancer it was. I might need some radiation therapy. Very forthright, honest, but very, very encouraging. She says, we feel like we can get it all. There was a plan. They'd already had the plan in place. All the appointments were set up for me, treatment decided, tumor board involved, and then the big surgery. They did a total hysterectomy. I was out of work for like 6 weeks, and then about 3 weeks into work, I started my radiation therapy. All the latest equipment. This linear accelerator is a new machine, and it's a fascinating machine, and I developed a love-hate relationship with the machine. I did tell them that I am claustrophobic, so I was worried about the machine. But they took me in and showed me the machine, explained how it worked, and I kind of just relaxed. My last day of radiation, I opened my eyes, and I watched it going around me. Everybody there was, they bent over backwards to make me feel comfortable, to make me feel safe, and they hid nothing from me, which is a benefit.
I think it's wonderful that people like Lily who work here also want to receive their treatment here. They put a lot of trust in us because they know that they'll receive very personalized, very compassionate care, the kind of care that we're known for in this community and that we want to continue and maintain.
The surgery was a success. No, I'm not the same as I was prior to, but I'm 95% better than I was prior to surgery, I can guarantee you that.
One of the things about High Point Regional that I'm always impressed by is the staff and their caring of patients. They truly care. People know when they're coming to High Point Regional they're going to be cared for. They're not just looked at as their disease process. Sal was not just a disc herniation. He was a patient, he was a colleague, he had a family.
This isn't just about Dr. Kilpatrick and the anesthesiologist and the operating room staff, but, it's about the kitchen staff that puts a tray of food down for you and helps you with that. It's about patient transport that doesn't hit every bump between your room and the radiology department.
Dr. Tapar, I feel, made the right decision of doing 2 surgeries in one in that same day. It's a life-changing moment for me.
For the most part, my life has gone back to normal. There's just things I have to look forward to and lots of life left to live. And I don't know that I would have been able to say that if I hadn't been here at High Point Regional, UNC, and Hayworth Cancer Center. Thank you.
I think it speaks volumes of the quality of care delivered here when you have employees that come back and receive their care here at UNC High Point Regional. They know everything about the system and are comfortable and appreciate the high quality care that's been given here to the point where they would want their care nowhere but here.
In this community, we have the option of going to many different places to seek care. And as a patient there was exceptional. So if you have to make a choice, don't look past your backyard, because sometimes the best places are right there in your backyard.